Ready to roll red in 15. Stand by in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Track red. Wait for it and roll red.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
We may all have a little luck of the Irish in us this St. Patrick's Day, but AAA does not want you to try your luck on the roads tonight.
And today was the first day of Gator Nationals, but the rain slowed down the qualifying events.
And Alachua County dropped several spots in a recent health survey. But first, there are 4 new confirmed cases of Zika virus infections in Florida, and 3 are right here in Alachua County. Good evening. It's Thursday, March 17th. I'm Maria Edinger.
And I'm Connor Ingles. Thanks for joining us. Today, the State Department of Health announced the 4 new cases, 3 locally and 1 in Brevard County. All are travel-related, but experts are watching for local transmission, which could grow more likely if there are active cases when our rainy days lead to more mosquitoes. So far, none of the 66 Florida cases have been blamed on mosquitoes biting an infected person and then biting someone else, but that is happening as close as Puerto Rico, where Zika cases are doubling every week.
I know we hope you remembered to wear your green today, but also hope you remembered your umbrella.
We'll kind of get away with the green.
This passes.
Green enough. Yeah, it's nasty out there, though, outside. You have forecaster Dan Henry joins us now from the Weather Center. Dan, when will this rain let up?
Well, Connor, I can give you an answer tonight, but then unfortunately we will have some rain chances returning Friday and Saturday. The good news is if you're headed out tonight, we will see some dry time after 10 p.m. I think most of the showers will let up, but if you're just about to drive home, I do have some showers I'm tracking right now. The heaviest stuff right now is up on the Highway 301 corridor there between Stark and Keystone High School. They're still in the 1 inch per hour range. Around Gainesville, mostly just scattered stuff, not as strong as before, and some stuff with some lightning in it. Moving onshore right now, some more convective rainfall there near Cedar Key. And already we've had about 1 inch or 2 inches around most spots in Alachua County, so those roads will be quite wet for some time to come into the evening hours, even if the rain does let up. By 10 or 11 o'clock, you will want to take some extra caution if you're headed out later tonight. Those temperatures will remain mild in the mid to lower 60s for lows tonight. Here's your future track solution showing, mostly clear by 11 or 12 a.m. We do have some more rain on the way this weekend, though. I'll talk more about that in my full weather update in just a few minutes. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Dan. Today was the opening day of Gator Nationals at the Gainesville Raceway.
That's right. The drag racing event runs through Sunday, but the event got off to a slippery start today. Sean McKenna joins us now in the studio. Sean, how did the weather conditions affect what happened today?
Well, Connor, due to the rain, the qualifying races were actually delayed until the conditions cleared up. Both fans and drivers had to put their day on hold for a while until conditions made it appropriate. And it's likely the drivers at Gator Nationals will see more rain through the weekend. Some drivers have been coming to this race for decades from all over the country. They say not even rain will stop them from coming to win it all.
We obviously don't like the rain because we just have to sit and wait it out. But 4 years ago, I was here on Monday into the final round, so we'll wait if we have to.
If it does rain on the track, the drivers will just wait until the rain stops. But they are not the only ones waiting around. Fans also sat around waiting for the sky to lighten up and the racing to continue. For fans of drag racing, the sound of engines revving meant it was that time of the year again. Hundreds of people showed up to the first day of Gator Nationals to watch some of their favorite drivers compete head-to-head for 8 seconds. For some people, this annual drag racing competition is something they never miss.
Yeah, I've been coming here for 25 years. I came here the first year that Kenny Bernstein ran the first 300 miles per hour.
And for others, it's a chance to experience the sport.
Oh, this is my first time, so it's kind of interesting.
Fans could also walk around the raceway and look at the cars that are used in the races. But what seemed like a good day for racing enthusiasts eventually came to a halt. Weather didn't seem to be an issue early in this day, but eventually the sky did open up and fans had to spend the next couple hours huddled under shelter like this tent. Fans were forced to wait around until the racing continued, but the waiting didn't discourage everyone.
Well, just sit and wait. A lot of times they get racing again now. You have to wait a while.
As long as the weather permits, racing is scheduled to continue later on tonight. Anyone who
Ready,
left the
OTS,
event can
on
regain
camera
admittance
2,
today as
tilt
long
up
as they
2.
got a stamp while exiting
Mike
the
Murray,
raceway.
hold, take.
Thanks, Sean. Now, after a
Ready,
night of
package on
celebrating
B.
St. Patrick's Day, there are different ways to make it home.
Let's go with
WUFT's Stephanie
track
Burns shows
B.
us one service that'll be available tonight for celebrators.
Roll, take. Nice job. Ready,
Part of St. Patrick's Day is about celebrating the luck of the Irish, but there are some things you should know if you find yourself out of luck later tonight.
We're here, we want people to go out and have a good time. We want them to party responsibly, but just make sure that tomorrow you're going to be able to get out and enjoy the next day.
To make sure you're able to get up tomorrow, there are different ways to get home safely.
If you're planning to go out, make a plan not to drive. Whether you find a designated driver, use the RTS later gator, use some sort of ride share, or use a taxi. Make sure you have a plan in place before you get ready to go out.
If you're going out tonight and find yourself in a situation where you don't have a designated driver, you can always call AAA tow service.
Everybody's kind of like waiting for the call.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nat Pop. And Mike, take.
We apologize for a bit of technical difficulties there, but the St. Patrick's Day tow-to-go service will be operating until 6 a.m. tomorrow. And SeaWorld announced today it will no longer breed show orcas. Amusement park officials say this generation of killer whales was the last they'll care for, and the company says it will slowly phase out killer whale shows at all of their parks by 2019. The move comes amid years of increased scrutiny of the theme parks after the death of a trainer during a performance, and the documentary film Blackfish was critical of the theme park's treatment of killer whales. Company officials say they're listening to the public and changing how they educate the public about killer whales. They say they can't release their captive whales into the wild just yet because they haven't been trained to compete for food and to be exposed to diseases and pollution.
Florida Senate President Andy Gardner successfully pushed a legislative agenda to provide better funding and resources for people with disabilities.
Gardner, who has a son with Down syndrome, likes the phrase unique abilities and pushed for a series of bills under that banner. WUFT's Ariane Ganwuya joins us now from the newsroom. Ariane, what changes will this legislation bring?
You can see this priority in a host of items this year. Even when it came to the issue of building repair money for charter schools, lawmakers agreed there should be extra money for schools that serve kids with disabilities. And amongst a host of other things, the legislation will increase rates paid to care providers.
Caregivers for the disabled were happy to see new commitments from state lawmakers and extra funding making it past the governor's veto list. From schools to job training, more resources will target people with unique abilities.
We need more money.
ARC of Alachua County is glad this year's legislation addressed financial realities.
Raising direct support staff salaries. Number one priority. It's been my number one priority, since I've been executive director. So it's long overdue, and it's going to be exciting to actually start to put it down. And that's got to be our top priority.
Steve Drago says ARC's direct support staff has been paid less than fast food workers, which makes it hard to find staff.
Disability providers here at the ARC of Gainesville say, although hopeful, they were shocked that the rates were increased.
With the increase in rates, the direct support staff will be paid the living wage. The Florida Housing Finance Corporation also received funding to build more group homes, and $50 million was targeted to cut the wait list for programs and group homes.
Although they hope for as much as a 7% increase, the direct support staff at ARC is happy for their compensation will go up by 3%. Reporting live from the newsroom, Ariane Gonia, WUFT News.
Thank you, Ariane. WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started. Coming up, county health outcome rankings are in across the state, and Alachua County has dropped a bit. We'll have the results right after the break.
Mike Kerr, Q, dissolve.
And if you've fallen on campus and can't seem to get up, a group of UF students are ready to help you with that or some other emergencies. Up next, I'll show you how these students plan to make a difference on campus.
Trigger.
So some St. Patrick's Day green on the radar, some soggy conditions. I'll tell you when I think the rain's going to let up in just a few minutes after the break.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Black and silence dissolve. Master, it's yours. 10 seconds. Thank you. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Track red. 2, 1. Wait and roll red.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. The Florida Department of Health has received its 2016 county health rankings, and Alachua County saw a bit of a drop.
That's right. This year, the county rounded out the top 10 in overall health factors, having fallen from the number 2 spot just last year. WUFT's James Torres spoke with health officials from the state and county. James, what are they taking away from this data?
Well, despite the drop, Alachua County still definitely holds pride in being one of the healthiest counties in Florida. But officials say despite any number that they're given, the county is always looking to improve where they can.
Every year when these rankings come out, we're always excited to see them, excited to see where we stand.
When it comes to county health rankings, Alachua County can stand pretty tall. But according to this year's numbers, they came up just a little short. The county rankings come from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, which takes health data from every county in every state and compares them on several factors. In 2015, Alachua County was ranked the second healthiest county in overall health factors. In 2016, they dropped to 10th. Data suggests the county dropped significantly in quality of life and health behaviors, but remained number 1 in clinical care. Alachua County health officials say the ranking system really helps.
They are a great indicator of what we've been doing well, and they're a great indicator of what we can do to partner with our community to keep improving.
The Florida Department of Health cannot be reached by phone to address the importance of the rankings, but the interim state surgeon general Celeste Phillips did release a statement saying the 67 health departments in Florida work with broad and diverse collaborations to identify priorities and create solutions to help Floridians live healthier lives. And though Alachua County did not come out on top, Gonzalez agrees the priority should be to make Florida a healthier state overall.
We're proud to be part of that. We're proud to be in the top 10. And we're going to keep working hard, and who knows, maybe next year we'll be number 1.
Now, these county health rankings are released every year, and they're based on a variety of factors, all of which can be found on the Florida Health Department website. One factor that is left out, however, is patient satisfaction, and county officials say they are looking to measure that through a survey that can be accessed online at wellflorida.org/surveys. Reporting from the newsroom, James Torres, WUFT News.
Thank you, James. And it turns out University of Florida students are also making efforts to make Florida a healthier state.
That's right. WUFT health reporter Alexis Cruz joins us now. Alexis, how are they going to do this?
So with the help of some local officials, this group of go-getters is ready to take action. Whenever you're in an emergency, you can always count on first responders to help you out. And a group of students at UF are now going above and beyond to bring those kinds of services to UF's campus.
A basic class to teach students emergency response skills at UF has been around for years, but now students have the opportunity to use them outside of the classroom. Most of the students involved with Gator EMR are pursuing majors in health, but graduating senior Bailey Rurik is on a different path.
Well, I'm actually studying English.
After taking the course, Rurik found a way to apply these skills to common accidents on campus.
There's skills you can use if you see someone go down a bike as they're going down center, because it's completely treacherous. Or these are skills like if someone's having a seizure during an exam, which has happened and people have responded to it.
But a certification from the course wasn't enough for Bailey and her friends. Inspired by other colleges, they decided to reach out to local officials to create the Gator Emergency Response Unit. Officers agree this is an opportunity to make the lives of those in need a little easier.
It was created to have these students so not only do they get educational purposes from it by being on scene, be able to treat certain things, but it also allows us to have medical professionals on site.
You don't have to take the course at UF to apply for the unit, but an EMR certification is mandatory. The group has not had the opportunity to treat a patient yet, but that doesn't mean their training is going to waste.
Every semester we have previous students come up to us, and they'll say that they use these skills. And of course, we never want people to have to use them, but it happens all the time.
Though graduation is the biggest emergency on Bailey's mind, she often reflects on how this unit has affected her college experience.
This has been very instrumental in my education, even with studying English. Like I said, you can use these skills and the mindset that it gives you, like how to handle emergencies and stuff like that in every aspect of life.
The Emergency Response Unit serves events like football games and 5K runs, and visits certain classes if you're lucky.
While those students are training to help fight injury, a new therapy has been designed to train immune cells to fight cancer. The treatment is called CAR T-cell therapy. Doctors will take some of the patient's own immune cells and bring them into the lab and basically train the cells to fight the cancer. Doctors say it's one of the most powerful treatments to emerge in modern medicine. The national study involves 16 cancer centers. Doctors say the treatment has proven effective before, but it is somewhat of a last resort after radiation and chemotherapy haven't worked. And a new innovation across the globe may cut down the time it takes to test for HIV in infants living in rural areas. A recent drone test flight was successful in bringing an HIV test sample from a community health center to a hospital lab 6 miles away. Drones have been used in the past for surveillance and assessment of disasters, but this is the first known use of the technology geared toward improving HIV services. Currently, it can take almost 2 months to get samples from a healthcare facility to an equipped lab and for the results to be returned. The research, which is being conducted by the UN Children's Agency, is using simulated samples for now to test the process. I feel like we've been talking about drones a lot lately on the show, but how do you feel about drones and medicine being used together?
Oh, I think that's fantastic. Like, I think drones are getting used for so many different things. They're really applicable to so many different situations.
Yeah, really coming up in technology. And that was a really cool little story there. Thank you, Alexis.
I know I was hoping for a beach trip this weekend, but those prospects are looking pretty dim.
It's probably not going to happen, Dan. Should we expect more wet weather to head our way this weekend and not at the beach?
Yeah, unfortunately, it does look like we do have that stalled front to our north being just that, stalled out. Unfortunately, over the next couple days, we do have more rounds of rain. We're actually abnormally dry right now, so while the beach plans aren't good, farmers are actually taking this rain and running with it because most of this stuff has not been super, super heavy this afternoon. Let's look around here on our ESP Storm Track radar, and I'll do some radar tracking here. Let's go down into Levy County. That's where the heaviest stuff is moving on shore right now. Very little lightning with this stuff, though, so good news there. Cedar Key getting kind of rained out right now. Here in Gainesville, we're looking a little bit better. That line of showers still is going to continue to move to the northeast, though. So over the next couple of hours, I am expecting some wet weather in the area. By 10 o'clock tonight, we'll see some of those scattered showers starting to taper off here. That's going to lead us into Friday and Saturday, where we still have, unfortunately, some off and on showers with an embedded thunderstorm or two as that low pressure system finally makes its way out of here. By Sunday, we'll be turning much cooler. Believe it or not, we're going to get some lows back in the low 40s. So don't put away the jackets and the sweaters just yet. Next week, we're turning much cooler. For tonight, I'm gradually stepping those rain chances down 80, 60, 50 by 10 p.m. If you're headed out for some St. Patrick's Day late night fun, you will want to bring the umbrella, just that 30% chance of one of those showers hanging out. Not a whole lot of them to it left overnight. I don't think there's going to be thunderstorms, but Future Track does show some scattered nonsense there on the radar. Too much St. Patrick's Day green there on the radar, where we don't like it. But we will be clearing out likely for Friday. If you're headed up to Gator Nationals, I think we're going to be clear for the first few hours of Friday. Our overnight lows, again, mild in the low to mid-60s. Rain returns by Friday afternoon and evening, mainly afternoon for the timing there. I put the lightning bolt icon in there, but I don't think there'll be a lot of thunderstorms. Temperatures mild in the mid to upper 70s. Saturday, I'm unfortunately still putting that 70% in there, scattered thunderstorms, and here's what I'm looking at. Not a whole lot of organization with the system, and I'm going to warn you right off the bat here, models don't like disorganization. Models are kind of theoretical in the sense that they want to see a strong system. This is not a strong system. So we're looking at scattered showers with an embedded thunderstorm or two Friday afternoon, ending Saturday morning. Here's where things get interesting. If that low pressure system to our west is managing to organize better, by Saturday we could be dealing with some heavy rain. This particular model solution shows mostly clear conditions, at least as far as the rain goes, but then periods of scattered heavy stuff on Saturday before we clear out Sunday. So plan to see rain Saturday, and then on the off chance we don't, we can consider ourselves lucky, okay? Mainly afternoon on Friday, scattered thunderstorms off and on Saturday, and then we will be clearing out Sunday, so some good news there. And notice much clearer for the start of your next work week, but notice that low there for Tuesday morning all the way down to 42 degrees. So some changes on the way, Marie and Connor.
Thank you. It's March, and you know what that means.
It's
March Madness.
Oh, it's sports science, that's right. Now we bring in sports anchor Ryan Nelson to break down the madness.
That's right, guys. The madness is upon us,
and it may in fact be the source of every office manager's headache this time of year. Coming up in sports, I'll get you caught up on all of today's action. We'll see if your bracket is still intact. Come on back, sports is next.
3, 2, 1. Black and silence dissolve. Master, it's yours. 7. Tilt up a little bit. Oh, too much. 4. Hold 3. Track red. 2. Wait for it and roll. That was faster than usual. Yes. Open right. Cute.
How fitting for the start of March Madness to fall on St. Patty's Day. Welcome back to sports. I'm Ryan Nelson. Like most Americans, you at home probably filled out one of these, the pride and joy of sports fans everywhere. Now coming up, everyone's hoping for a little bit of luck of the Irish this time of year. UNC Wilmington was an underdog in their game with Duke, but someone forgot to tell the Seahawks. They gave Duke a fight all game long. Craig Ponder gets a little sloppy near the rim, but Chris Fleming is there to clean it up. They take a 36-32 lead under 2 minutes in the first half. Someone get this man some icy hot. Fleming just puts the team on his back and drops the tray just before halftime, or so they think. Brandon Ingram knows how to silence the crowd. He nails a 3 just before double zeros. Second half, Ingram knows how to run the pick and roll too. He finds Marshall Plumlee for the slam. The Seahawks never could find their way back to the top in this one. Duke wins 93-85. And elsewhere, the Yukon Huskies pull out a win over Colorado, and the first upset of the day is in the books as Butler wins with a little cushion over Texas A&M. Those teams have saved their spot in the round of 32. And these teams hope to do the same. The Miami Hurricanes are dancing as a 3 seed. They take on Buffalo at 6:50 p.m. and party like it's 2013. Florida Gulf Coast is back in the tournament, this time as a 16 seed. Dunk City takes on the mighty Tar Heels at 7:20 p.m. The Kentucky Wildcats are one of 2 SEC teams left in the tournament. They face a tough Stony Brook team in prime time tonight. And here's a matchup to look out for that could make or break your bracket. 6th seed Seton Hall takes on 11th seed Gonzaga. Well, the Florida women's basketball team already has its ticket booked in the NCAA tournament. The Gators will take on the University of Albany and Syracuse, New York. If Florida wins, they face the winner of Syracuse and Army. The Gators are making their 15th NCAA tournament berth in team history and the 8th postseason appearance under head coach Amanda Butler. The Orange and Blue are 12-14 all-time in NCAA tournament games. Albany has won a league record 5 straight American East titles and has logged 5 consecutive 20-win seasons. But the Great Danes are 0-4 against current SEC teams. Tip-off is set for noon tomorrow, and you can find coverage on ESPN2. Well, March brings a bit of a good amount of sporting events, one of them being the NHRA Gator Nationals. The Gator Nationals are the traditional East Coast opener for pro stock motorcycle, funny car runs, and top fuel races. The Midway opens tomorrow at 10 a.m. Fans from all around the country have already started to pour into Gainesville. And speaking of pouring, it did just that, as you've seen by now. But tomorrow, fans will have the chance to experience manufacturer's Midway. The fans also can check out their favorite displays in Nitro Alley until the beginning of the second Nitro qualifying session, where some of these drivers, like Tommy Johnson Jr., who has raced under the likes of Don Schumacher and Joe Gibbs, it's a return to a place they call home.
Track A, roll, take.
You try to work hard and do everything right and do your best out there. Hope somebody notices, and evidently somebody noticed along the way, and then been fortunate to have a great career. And you know, I ran my first national event ever in 1984 here at the Gator National. So this race is always special to me to come back to where it all started.
Barring the rain, all racing resumes tomorrow. Well, one team that hasn't needed much luck lately is the Florida softball team. The Gators took on the Winthrop Eagles yesterday in Katie Cecil Presley Stadium, and it was all Gators in this one. The freshman sensation Kelly Barnhill proved her worth in the circle last night, fanning 18 batters on the night, tying a school record. And if that number sounds familiar, it should. Junior Delaney Gorley set the mark just a few weeks ago against Florida A&M. The Gators got off to a hot start with RBI singles by Amanda Lorenz and Kaylee Kilbasset. Florida cruises to a 7-0 win. Kelly, how'd you do it?
Roll, take.
I mean, I can give you every cliche in the book. It just feels really amazing to be able to do it and have Aubrey's support back there and everything she does, and Coach Rocha calling the pitches. She's the brains behind everything. So
the Gators are now 27-1, which matches the school best start in school history. Florida begins a weekend series with the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow in Gainesville.
Keep in mind, take.
Well, the Florida baseball team is coming off a drubbing of in-state rival Florida State. The Gators shut out the Seminoles for the first time since the year 1994. They'll look to carry that momentum into a weekend homestand with the Missouri Tigers. Florida will now move into its conference schedule on the arm of right-hander Logan Shore.
The Gators have lost only one game this season to the Miami Hurricanes, meaning Florida is off to its best start in school history. The Tigers are coming off a midweek split with Southeast Missouri, and this Florida team is ready.
Obviously, bigger series this weekend against Missouri. They're a great team. Any team you play in the SEC is going to be good. You're going to have some arms and they're going to be able to hit. So, we're excited. Hopefully, the rain holds off here. But we're pumped.
First pitch is set for 7 p.m.
Take all 3 mics.
Well, guys, we're only part way through the first day. My bracket's still intact, and as of right now, I have Kansas going ahead and winning it all. What about you guys?
Ooh, how much are you guys going to hate me if I did not do a bracket? You got it.
Utah. For the shout out. Yeah, my bracket, I got North Carolina winning. I've won all 4 games so far. Right now, I might lose one. Yale is up 1 point on Baylor with 9 seconds left. That could be the first big upset of the day. Thanks for Sports Rhyme.
Stand by 2.
Okay, before we go, let's get one last check on the weather.
Here's Amanda.
Take. Oh, it's
I'm Dan now, but thanks for checking in. We got some showers still out there on radar. Lee County is getting most of the downpours right now. Some of the heavy stuff moving over Cedar Key. The good news is the lightning is going away. A lot of the uplift with those storms that we saw earlier pretty much gone thanks to that sun starting to set. That's usually how that works. Temperatures overnight are going to remain mild in the low to mid 60s. Rain chances are gradually getting out of here by 10 o'clock. That's kind of my magic number as far as when I think most of the rain will have tapered off by. We could be dry before then, though, and we will likely be dry after that. But notice, I still do have a 20 and 30 in there, so if you're headed out later tonight for some St. Patty's Day fun, I would recommend just taking the umbrella because look what's happened here. Some of our models are showing some rain returning, even though we may be dry 10, 11, 12. By 2 a.m., some showers could sneak in, so just a heads up there. We will be looking at some chances for rain Friday and Saturday. We're drying out Sunday and getting much cooler to start next week. How about a low of 42 Tuesday morning? Back to you.
That sounds good, Dan. Thank you, Dan, for that. We'll be back tomorrow at 5. But your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org.
Here on WUFT TV, BBC World News is up next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7 o'clock. Have a good night.
And dissolve. 4, ready, flag, and silence. And 2, 1, dissolve. And we're out.